Can you all hear me clearly now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let's talk about today. We're going to talk about another chapter, Claire, and it's all about pie charts. Am I visible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now, pie charts are different from that of your line graph and bar chart, what we have already studied. So it's a bit different, okay? First of all, pie charts, you do understand, show how a whole clear is divided into parts. So whole clear, it is divided into parts. So the key language is all about proportion and percentage, about these two things. The language they will use, clear, that would be about proportion and percentage. So pie charts clear are often shown in pairs. You can have in pairs, like there can be two charts. One of the chart clear for one time period and clear one for another. And then you can even do comparisons, and sometimes even you may have the pie chart like one single pie chart as well. So, what a pie chart show, Claire? So, pie chart shows it's a circular chart divided into slices or segments. Or we can say that each slice or segment, it represents different categories. We'll talk about that. So each slice, as I say, shows a proportion of one category or percentage, Claire, of another category. So different percentages will be provided to you. So some pie charts show even like 1 year only. And we have already talked about if there is only 1 year or no years. If there is only 1 year or no years, Claire, that is called what? Static pie chart. And for the static pie chart, you do understand, Claire, uh, that we don't use any increases or decreases, Claire, or they can be compared, Claire, others to compared to or more years. And if there are more than 1 year, so we call it dynamic pie charts. So your task is to describe the distribution and compare key features. So as I mentioned earlier, it's a circular chart divided into what? In different slices or segments. And you suppose how it is distributed, and we will complete it there in 4 paragraphs. The first paragraph, introduction paragraph. Number 2, overview. The third one, main body paragraph 1, and then main body paragraph 2. So purpose of the introduction is simply like paraphrasing. What do the charts show? Which categories? Which year? Clear? Etc. And when it comes about the overview, you do understand which category is the largest, smallest, what increased, what decreased, or stayed the same. And you do understand how to write down about both of them. Uh, Another point when it comes about the introduction, Claire. So for the introduction, this is the key language you can use. Later on, we will take some sample model answers as well. First of all, avoid copying the question exactly. Replace keywords with synonyms. Suppose this is the pie chart. The pie chart, if there's only one chart, then you can say illustrates. But if there are two charts, two pie charts, then we don't use clear SES or IES with the verb. Then we can say compare the proportions of household expenditure in 2000 and 2020. The charts, we can say the charts, but it's better to name the charts. The pie charts represent, because the charts are double, so we can say only represent, not represents. Or instead of that, you can say the diagram. If there's only one diagram, you can say diagram. If there are two, then you can say diagrams. Okay, and you do understand about the overview. So how to write an overview for that? Write the overview immediately after an introduction. You do understand, you have already studied that. Do not overload the overview with many numbers, clear? First of all, it's quite clear to you people, we start overview with overall, and then after that, you because the vocabulary is completely different for that of your pie chart. I will give you this vocabulary later on, clear? We do not say increased or decreased, but the vocabulary we can say accounted for, distributed, clear? We can say about made up, different vocabulary words we will use here. And later on, inshallah, after this slide, I will show you how to use that vocabulary. For all charts, this is very important for everyone to know how to use different vocabulary for each chart. For example, this is overall. rent. For example, the distribution, clear, that is rent, one of the category. One of the categories rent, and you say rent accounted for. Rent accounted for. For what? For the largest share. And this is your overview, and you do understand that in overview paragraph, we never include numbers, percentages, or proportion. So simply is a general trend, we can say rent accounted for the largest share. Whereas, and you do know, Claire, that the opposite one, so to connect, either we can use whereas, we may use while. So whereas other, it's whereas clear, other items represented the smallest proportion. So now once we have used accounted for, the second one represented, so presented, so we can use clear all of them. So overview is the shortest clear paragraph. We will take practical example as well later on, and this is your vocabulary bank, and you do have it in your book. For example, there are some proportions. So for proportions, we can say proportion, percentage, share, figure, etc. And then how to use them. Over here, these are the examples. For pie charts, we don't say big size or small size. Instead of that, what vocabulary we can use? This is the vocabulary, you can study them. For composition, you can use, these are the verbs. Can you see? These are the verbs we use here. Accounted for, made up, constitutes, comprises, represents, distributes. So different verb you can use. But if there is any dynamic graph, then maybe you will use also increases or decreases. But if there is stable, static graph, then we don't use that. Usually pie charts, if there's one pie chart, then they don't want to give you time. If there is no time period, then it means that we are supposed to use only simple present tense. And if there are some approximation words, so you can use approximation words. If there is comparison, this is a vocabulary for comparison, you can study that. And linkers, definitely we will use some linkers. We need linkers. So the linkers I have presented also here. Then this is important slide for you over here, because number one, that pie charts always we represent either in fractions or in percentages, either in fractions or in percentages. Look, in percentages we can say 50%, but in fraction we can say half. So instead of saying like 50%, you can say half of the total. 50% of the total, we can say half of the total. Vary your language. Until you don't vary your language, examiner is not going to give you good band. When you can score high, when you vary your language. So once you have used 50%, for the next time, don't use 50%. You can say fraction language. 25% means a quarter, 20% a fifth, 33% clear a third or nearly a third, 75 three quarters, 10% 1 in 10. So this is the fraction language, and the vocabulary, as I told you earlier, this is the vocabulary part that you need to clear learn it, because we will use accounted for. For example, if I say rent accounted for 50%, but in fact we don't use this language, clear this vocabulary and line graph and bar chart. In line graph, we said increase, decrease, declined, clear. Same is the case with your bar chart, but in pie chart we say accounted for, we say made up, we say represented, clear. We say comprised. We may say clear if there is any type of comparison, we can say twice, as high as that. We can say accounted, as I mentioned, share of this had risen. So this is the vocabulary part you people can use, and if it remains same, no changes, then you can say remained unchanged. And then body paragraph strategies, how we can divide them. This is an important question, clear. For one pie chart, describe from largest to smallest. Look, we can use the same. If there is only one pie chart. So if the pie chart is one, and the distribution is among 5 categories. For example, there are 5 categories. So what we are going to do, write down the highest categories. For example, 3 are the highest categories. So high categories 3, low categories 2, low categories. So one paragraph, main body paragraph number 1, 8, 3 categories in one paragraph, the first paragraph, para 1. And then 2, clear, there are 2 categories for the low, then you can write down for para 2. But if there are two pie charts, so for two pie charts, what we can do, it's quite simple. One main body paragraph, clear? One para on one chart and the second para on another chart. So as there are two charts, clear? So then we can divide based on what? Based on paragraphs. First one, the first para, clear? The first one, and then the second one for the second part, clear? Pie chart 1 and the second one for pie chart 2. This is how like you can distribute your paragraphs, clear? And I have mentioned one pie chart describe from largest to smallest. So if you have two largest or three largest values, so put those largest values in one paragraph. And then the smallest values you can put in another paragraph. So group major versus clear group major versus group minor categories. It's quite clear to you. But for two charts organized by year or by category, you can say for 1 year, like the previous one that's for 2005, write down one paragraph. The second one is for 2010, another one. Both are acceptable if the grouping is logical. Use at least clear 2 to 3 direct comparisons. This is an important part. And mention combined total when useful. And do not clear rewrite every number, clear if you just keep writing everything. So for band 9, when you have two pie charts, your overview should compare biggest changes between the two time periods. One is for 2025, another is for 2000. Oh, I don't know. Today there is internet gives me trouble. Anyhow, I will also share the recordings. Okay. After this, for example, we want to take one of the model answer. Now, look at this graph and talk. Can you just, if you want to talk to me, so be with me, please, because I can ask you how many pie charts do we have now here? Let's talk about it.
Two.
Two.
There are two pie charts, right? And if there are two pie charts, so now we can say it's dynamic. Clear? They are dynamic because one is for 2021 and the second one is for 2000 and
1971.
1971.
1971.
So one is for 19. This is like the old one, clear? First of all, we can write down 1971 and then we can write about the 2000. Now, if you just focus here, what is the highest, clear? The highest category in 1971. So the
Food for
highest one is 44%.
Food.
And the highest category, that's for food. It's 43 for cars in 2000, right?
2001.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. Now this is over here food, and if you just take a look, and for the second one, it's for the cars. Then can you find any significant big difference here? Now, if you just look at the cars one and 2001, like I would say the figure it doubles, right? And the petrol, clear, if you look at petrol, so it's almost same. Am I right?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Restaurants,
Sir.
clear, if you compare restaurants, so now A is twice, clear. So now it has increased. It's now the double. What about the furniture? Furniture remained almost the same. Computers, clear, there's a big difference in computers before and after. And what about the books? So now books has increased while computers increased. And we can see a very big difference, clear, and that of food and cars in both charts. Am I right? So first of all, you have
Yes.
to analyze both charts. दोनों charts को आपने analyze करना है. And after this, if you come, this is the first part, clear? This is what they have given us, the prompt. This is my prompt. And if you just look at both pie charts are two. So the two pie charts compare. They have used compare because they're two. The proportions, clear, of spending on 7 different items in 1971 and 2001. We simply paraphrase this portion. So how we have paraphrased? The two pie charts compare. So instead of compare, can we use any other verb?
Yeah,
You may use
present.
clear, change your verb. Don't use compare exactly the same. Change your verb. So we can say demonstrates, not demonstrates because there are two, so we would say demonstrate. The proportions. So they have written proportions. So can we change proportions to percentages? Percentages of. Clear? So they have written what? Spending. So can we change spending into expenditure?
Yeah.
Clear? On seven different different items. Instead of seven different items, you can even name them. You can name them, okay? You can write their names. And it's in 1971, so we can write down exactly the same in 1971. And in 2001, we cannot change here between or from. Why? Because the years, clear, they're not continuous. अब यहाँ पे ये अलग साल है 1971 और फिर दूसरे साल के साथ 2001 में ये कंपेयर किया हुआ है. So if there was a continuous clear, so then we would have written between or from. लेकिन आपने in 1971 को same as it is लिखना है, ठीक है? चेंजेस ना लेकर आए. अब इसमें देखिए ओवरव्यू. सो ओवरऑल the most noticeable change is that cars became the largest expense. Am I right? In 2001. अगर आप 2001 को कंपेयर करना चाहे तो इसमें सबसे बड़ा मतलब जो एक्सपेंस है वो किस चीज का है? कार का है. Am I right?
Yes.
Number one. And number two, where its food had accounted for the biggest share in 1971. अब 1971 में क्या था? फूड था सबसे बड़ा शेयर. और 2001 में क्या है? It's all about the cars. It is also clear that spending on computers rose considerably. अब computers का देखे, it has rose considerably from 2% to 2000, from 2% to 12%, while the proportion of for food and books declined. Can you see? Proportion for books का आप यहाँ पे देखे, यहाँ पे 6% था, but now it's 1% only. And for the food it's 44%, but now the food is 14%. अब हमने ये नहीं लिखना कि percentage. Can I mention percentages in my overview paragraph?
No, sir. Data will not use.
No, sir.
तो ज्यादा मतलब डेटा आप लोगों ने ओवरव्यू, क्योंकि आपके पास ओवरव्यू के लिए बहुत ज्यादा डेटा होगा. यू मे हैव लाइक enough data for overview and that of your pie charts. लेकिन हर आप लोगों ने हर एक चीज को यहाँ पे इंक्लूड नहीं करना. जैसे यहाँ पे हमारे पास मतलब ये कह सकते हैं कि नाउ रेस्टोरेंट्स का एक्सपेंडिचर क्लियर, स्पेंडिंग ऑन रेस्टोरेंट्स क्लियर, इट हैज बिकम डबल. लेकिन और या हम ये कह सकते हैं कि फर्नीचर ऑलमोस्ट इट्स सेम क्लियर. तो जरूरत नहीं है कि पूरे हर एक डेटा को आप लोग यहाँ पे मेंशन करें. फिर हमारे पास दो ग्राफ्स है. So if we have two graphs, so one paragraph, main body paragraph, we can write on one, like it's on 1971. 1971 comes first, so that's why I have to mention it first. Then we have 2001, it comes second, then we need to mention the second one. So 1971, food represented. तो ये words आप लोगों ने याद रखने हैं. Represented, comprise, made, clear up. आप लिख सकते हैं इसमें constitutes, distributed. Different words should be used here. So food represented the largest proportion for clear of expenditure. अब वैल्यू लिखना चाहते आखिर में तो सिंपल just simply put comma then 8 and then there should be percentage at the end. अब इसका देखे food represented, अगर आप ये ग्राफ को देखे तो food represents what? The largest proportion, right? So if it's the largest one, so we have largest proportion of expenditure at 44%, which was exactly double the figure for cars. अब यहां पे देखिए तो कार्स का ये डबल है, राइट? यहां पे क्योंकि हम 1971 का लिख रहे हैं तो ये 44%, ये 22% है. सो इट्स द डबल क्लियर फॉर दैट ऑफ कार्स. फिर हमने पेट्रोल एंड फर्नीचर मेड ऑफ 10 एंड 9% रिस्पेक्टिवली. अब यहां पे बजाय ये कि मैं दो डबल डबल अलग अलग लिखता जाऊं, so it takes like more words. No need of that, and it consume much time from my side. So what I want to put here, petrol and furniture made up, क्योंकि वर्ब को मैंने यहां पे चेंज कर दिया. I just changed the word. So make sure that you keep changing your verbs. यहां पे मैंने represents लिख दिया, ठीक है? So make sure you people keep changing your verbs. Made up for what? 10%. अब ये 10% किस चीज के लिए? पेट्रोल के लिए. And for furniture we use 9%. अब दोनों का देखिए यहां पे फर्नीचर के लिए, पेट्रोल के लिए हमारे पास 10% है, yes. For furniture we have 9%, yes, exactly. So we have mentioned. Then after that, what we can say, while restaurants accounted for. Have I changed my verb now? Yes, I changed my verb because represented, then we use made up, now we use accounted for. Accounted for how much? 7% only. And we have mentioned here restaurants for 7%. आफ्टर दैट बाय कंट्रास्ट क्यों मैंने लिख दिया? क्योंकि यहां पे अगर देखिए ये बिल्कुल नेगेटिव हो रहा है, एम आई राइट? वो पॉजिटिव में मैंने लिख दिया कि ये ज्यादा थे। अब ये सारे मतलब बाय कंट्रास्ट ओनली 6% ऑफ टोटल स्पेंडिंग वेंट ऑन बुक्स। For books, they have spent only 6%. So that's why we have written what? By contrast. And then in computers made up the smallest share. The smallest share at just 2%. So I have mentioned like the biggest value, clear? जो मेरे पास बड़े the percentage that's for higher I use first, then for car second one, then petrol and so on. तो ये पहला पैराग्राफ मेरे पास खत्म हुआ। अब सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आप लोग के लिए क्या है इसमें कि those the vocabulary we use here is totally different now because we don't use exactly the same vocabulary the way we used before, like increases or decreases. तो आप लोग के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट इसमें क्या है कि आप लोग ये वोकैबुलरी जो यहां पे मैंने इस्तेमाल की ये आप लोग याद रखें। For pie chart, vocabulary is totally different. Like, represented, we said, then we talked about made up, then we said accounted for. We have like now the next one, clear? Went on, then made up. तो कोशिश करें कि made up क्योंकि यहां पे मैंने इस्तेमाल किए थे दोबारा इस्तेमाल ना हो। We don't want to use it again. Then for main body paragraph 2, it's by 2001. However, the pattern had changed significantly. तो मैंने एक्स्ट्रा अल्फाज इसलिए लिखे कि पैटर्न हैज clear had changed because it's in the past, so had changed significantly. Cars had risen sharply क्योंकि हमारे पास हमें एक ऑलरेडी मिल चुका है, so that's why we want to use present past perfect tense here. So can you see now cars, before cars were 22 but now cars are 43. So now cars had risen what? Had risen sharply. अब क्योंकि यहां पे मैंने स्टैटिक इस्तेमाल कर सकता हूं, क्यों कर सकता हूं? क्योंकि यहां पे चेंज आ चुका है, एम आई राइट? इसमें मैंने ये बिल्कुल किस चीज में स्टैटिक वाइज से लिख दिया, इसमें मैंने इंक्रीज डिक्रीज नहीं लिखा। क्यों नहीं लिखा? क्योंकि मेरे पास